Shreya asked for me to focus more on low back pain. So some very gentle exercises for the low back. I mean, if you are healthier, there's not really much pain involved, you could definitely do things more active. But for now, for this video, very gentle stretching and exercises. So if you'd want a block and a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use, a belt of some sort, a tie, something that you can put on a tie of a belt, something that you can use to strap around your thighs so you can do this one particular exercise. A block, if you don't have a block, you can use maybe a thick book. If anybody has, Yellow Pages phone book anymore, you might be able to use that. Otherwise, you can just grab something that works. So we'll start lying down, and we're going to go props out of the way so you can see me. We're going to go knees to chest first. So bringing the knees into your chest will stretch automatically the hips and the low back. And what I like to do is rock side to side. So when you rock side to side, you're massaging more muscles along the spine. And if you work the knees away from your chest, you'll be getting different areas. So when the knees are in close to the chest, it's more mid-back. And then as you bring the knees away, it's more low back until eventually your knees are above your hips and it's more pelvis and upper buttock area. You bring the knees back into the chest. And sometimes instead of just simply rocking side to side, I like to do knee circles. So the knee circles, they go out away from the chest and then back into the chest. And you can go in the opposite direction, do it as many times as you like. So after that, we'll do the single knee to chest stretch. So you bring one knee in, stretch the other leg out, reach through the inner heel, keep the toes pointing up. And as you pull the knee in, keep the shoulders down, neck, jaw muscles, everything soft. And I like to stretch through two different points so you get a bigger stretch. You're stretching the right hip right now, but if you're really reaching through the left heel, the right knee, you'll also stretch a bit of the front of the left hip. So you'll do both sides, and then you'll want to grab your block. So this is for an even bigger stretch on the hip flexors. And the hip flexors, especially the psoas, is located attached to the front part of your lumbar vertebrae, the low back. So if it gets tight, it'll pull down, causing compression on the disc. Even maybe that's what's contributing to your lordosis, the extreme curvature in the low back. So if you have your block first or second height, I avoid the third height because it's usually more back bending and just kind of goes into the low back more. So if you're more flexible, you can go to the second height, lifting up like you would for a bridge. Place the block in the upper buttock area, pelvis, so not too low because you want to feel stable. You can take the feet off the floor, hold one knee again, and stretch through the other leg. So we want to keep the left leg straight. If you bend the knee, you lose a lot of stretch. Reach through the left inner heel as you pull the knee in. And if you want more to stretch, you're just going to have to change your body position. So if you bring your right knee over to the right, that might be enough of a stretch for you. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can externally rotate the left leg, meaning toes in the out to the side. And you can either go to the left with the left foot, or you can take it over to the right. One of those positions will give you a better stretch. So, and I always like to test it out every single time I do this, because every single time you practice, your body's a little different. Remember, whenever we practice, we're never practicing with expectations and assumptions. So we're always fully present whenever you practice. So you want to switch both sides, of course, after you do that. And you can hold these stretches for, 30 seconds, a minute, more, whatever you feel comfortable with, basically. After doing that, we'll take knees to chest, squeezing the knees in, just for a little stretch. And then we'll come into our hamstring stretch now. So now we're getting more into the back part. So if you need to, you can grab your strap and you place the strap around the ball of the foot. My favorite way to hold the strap, you could just hold it, but sometimes if you're there for a long time in a class, your fingers might get tired. So usually go wherever you feel like is the easiest for you to grab, so right there. And then you tighten it up to right about there. And then what you do is you slip your hand to make it a little bit looser. You slip your hand from behind through the strap, and then you just hold on from there. And this way, the strap around the hand just kind of holds itself in place. You don't really have to grip on. And then from there, you straighten out the left leg. You're reaching through both heels. There's a little external rotation in the right leg, so the femur, the head of the femur can kind of come out just a little bit, just because it's easy for a lot of people when they're going into this particular stretch to hike the hip up and kind of cram the head of the femur in the socket. So just maintain the appropriate space in the joint. Right hip should kind of stay away from the right shoulder. right shoulder dropping down towards the floor. Stretching the entire back of the legs, so ball the foot's a little lower if you can. And of course you're breathing, you're staying relaxed. If you cannot stay relaxed, then you're going too far. So you're just wasting your time. So learn to stretch, get a good sensation, but still able to stay calm and relaxed. So after you do both sides, then we'll come into a glute stretch. So the buttock stretch here, a little bit more. So through the whole pose. Through the whole pose, at least that's what I call it, is basically this position. If you can't grab easily, just hold your foot in your knee and just very gently pull in, being mindful of your knee. So if you can hold a thigh, you can hold your shin instead. But remember, as you do any kind of external rotator hip stretches, you're not feeling it in the knee. So knee is happy, hip is stretching. If you want a little bit more of a stretch and just to kind of change it up a little bit, lean over to the left. So you're kind of balancing on the left side and reach the right hip away from the right shoulder. So again, both sides, maybe a minute or so, and then we'll do a very gentle twist. So for me, I think a gentle twist is just knees stacking over to the side. But for you, that might still be a little bit too intense, especially if your low back is not happy. So you grab your block and maybe place the block, underneath the knees so the knees are even higher. So it's less of a rotation there in the low back. Now normally when you're twisting in yoga, you would look in the opposite direction of the knees, but if that bothers your neck, keep your gaze up instead. So after the stretching, we're going to go into the strengthening, or that side joint stabilizers. First one we'll do is holding on the knee, and don't pull the knee in. Instead, think about engaging, kind of doing the knee into the hands, so you're working more of the buttock area. This is all about learning how to stabilize the pelvis, because if the pelvis, the SI joint dysfunction, or if you have hypermobility in that joint, it will cause pain. So after doing this, now these exercises, hold it for about 5 seconds and do about 3 times. And don't go all, so if you're doing that, then you're working too much. So just remember, your yoga practice is all about finding balance, not over efforting, not under efforting. So after doing that, then you're going to do the opposite side. So you hold on, so you don't hold, but you just simply have your hand in front of the knee, blocking the knee. And then you use the strength of your hip flexors and a little of your core to try to bring the knee to your chest, and your arm is just blocking it. So again, we're engaging here, engaging the muscles around the pelvis, getting nice and stabilized. 5 seconds, 3 times, both sides. And then after that, we'll place the block between the knees. And this is leg bridge, but you're not lifting your hips. You're going to pull the belly in just a little bit, so you're engaging there. And then, again, squeezing the block. Remember, nothing crazy. 5 seconds, 3 times. After that, you'll grab your strap, and the strap will go around your thighs, close to your knees. So you're going to slip your feet through the strap, tighten up your strap about hip width apart, and then again, belly pulls in. You're going to try to take the knees out against the strap. So 5 seconds, 3 times, and then you're going to release knees to chest, squeezing the knees in. And you might want to do, if you are close to a wall like I am, you could just kind of swivel around and then take legs up to the wall. So legs up the wall is a nice pose. It helps with inflammation, preventing and reducing varicose veins in the legs, but also kind of brings the pelvis more to that flex position. So it also helps to relieve low back pain. So you might like that. Otherwise, you could just call it a day from there. And that finishes up our gentle stretching and exercises for if we have no low back pain. So again, if anybody has a special request, feel free to message me